everyone, welcome back to my channel. Here I talk about language learning, mindset, productivity, design, travel, and everything in between. Sorry for the incredibly boring background. My tripod broke and my camera isn't working great, so I'm filming on my phone and balancing this on like a bedpost. Sorry. Okay, today we are talking about emotions and language learning, the mental aspect of language learning and your mindset. So I always tell my coaching clients that 50% of language learning is actually how you approach it in the mind, not your resources, not the amount of time you have, not your study skills. Of course, those things are very, very important. But I found with so many of the people I talk to that their biggest struggle is what's going on in their mind. So let's dive into this a little bit more. Okay, what do I mean when I say that a lot of my coaching clients are struggling with the mental aspect? Let me close the window, it's very noisy. This is a pause for tension. What do you say, like a cliffhanger? Okay, so many people I talk to tell me, I've reached this intermediate plateau, I've learned for 2 or 3 years, and I just can't see myself progressing. And this one girl I was talking to, she told me that sometimes when she's in a situation where she has to speak her target language, it's so stressful to her that she almost feels like crying. And I can completely relate. I've had this when I was learning Korean. I put so much mental pressure on myself to perform, to be good at this language. I compared myself to others and I said, I've been learning for 2 or 3 years. This person has been learning for 1 year. They are there. I am here. I need to be better. I'm a failure. Something is not working. What is wrong with me? I wonder if you can relate. So when I was learning Korean, I remember I just wanted to say like 안녕하세요, 이거 어디예요? Like hello, where can I find this thing? In the Korean grocery store. And I walked in and I completely froze. Like just the thought of saying 안녕하세요, hello to the ajumma who works in the Korean store freaked me out so much that I just couldn't do it. And I walked in and I was like, hello. And then I just like did my thing and walked out without utilizing this great opportunity to practice my Korean. So that was about 12, 13 years ago. And it took me about 3 to 4 years to really get comfortable with speaking and get out of this fear mindset. So what I mean by fear mindset is where you don't hype yourself up, but you stress yourself out so much by thinking about your ability or lack of ability to speak a language that it hinders you from actually speaking it. I put so much pressure on myself to say, I need to be perfect. I've been learning for a while. Why can't I do it? That I walked into that grocery store with this anxiety and then I was unable to speak. If I had changed my fear mindset to a growth mindset of saying, wow, I have this amazing opportunity to speak this language that I don't get to speak every day. Let me make the best of this opportunity and have a growth mindset in the sense that if you fail, it is okay because you can get back up again and you can learn from your mistakes. If I approached it with a growth mindset and I went in there and said, 안녕하세요, 이거 어디예요? Without wondering, is my pronunciation bad? Is she gonna laugh at me? Is she not gonna understand me? Going in with a more positive mindset and really putting myself out there and trying, I would have gotten a better result. Even if the lady wouldn't understand me and she's like, huh? I could explain again or try again in Korean and learn from my mistakes and go home and think, why didn't that work out, right? We want to analyze the situation and say, was it my pronunciation? Was it a lack of vocabulary? Was it just a noisy, stressful environment? If I had approached it with that growth mindset, I could have gone home and analyzed and improved on the situation instead of going in with a fear mindset and anxiety and then messing it up and going home and telling myself, you did it again, you're a failure. There's a ton of videos and books on YouTube and in bookstores that you can find about a growth mindset. I'm not, a specialist in this, so please do some research and reading up on what a growth mindset is. And I recommend the book Grit by Angela Duckworth. I will put the link in the description for you to get that book on Amazon. It is an affiliate link, so I'll earn a small earning, but it will be at no cost to you. So if you do want to support my channel, please do check it out through that link. But this book is incredible because she did a lot of research about what makes people successful. It's not their background, it's not their good looks, it's not their study skills, it's not the time they have, it is grit. And grit is working towards your goals in a long-term view with a growth mindset. I was about to say a growth mindset. Okay, so people who succeeded, kids in spelling bees, people in careers, she did a lot of research in different groups. The people who succeeded the most are the people who worked consistently, very hard towards their goals over a long period of time. So you don't give up after a week, a month, 1 year, 2 years. You say, I'm learning this language for fluency in the future. And 10 years from now, I see myself working in that country or being able to understand the movies I watch. And you continue working every, I don't want to say day because that's pressure. I don't want to say week because that might be pressure for you as well if you're really busy. Every month, at least, you want to see yourself climbing that ladder of improvement over a long time. So do read that book for more information, but it's not about your study skills. It's not about the resources or the time you have. It's about the effort you put in, the growth mindset you have, not a fixed mindset, not a fear mindset, and looking at your goals in the long term and grinding away at that over time. 2 more things that I want to mention. How can we practically work on our mindset? So the first part is you want to acknowledge the growth and success you've done up until this point. So think about where you were 1, 2, or 3 years ago, unable to speak or use this language at all. And just analyze and think, wow, actually look how far I've come. I'm able to talk to some extent. Even if I'm at this intermediate plateau, even if I don't feel myself growing, I actually have grown a lot. And the only way forward is up. I can only grow more from here. Yes, it might be a slower growth path, but there is growth that I can see in my future. So the one way of working on your mindset is looking back and seeing what you've achieved, not looking at the current stressful state you're in. Okay. And then the second way that really works for me is looking forward by keeping track of what you're doing. So this is where a language journal, which I always talk about, comes really in handy. You can either have a language diary where every single day you write a few sentences in that language. And it can also work as a language learning method where you're looking up new words that you might not know when you're trying to write something. And you're going to be using daily vocabulary. You're going to be talking about things you like. This is going to improve your conversational ability. And why this is a good way to track your progress and motivate yourself is over time. Remember long-term and grit. Over time, you can look back and say, okay, January 1st last year, this was my level. What was I able to say then? And what am I able to say now, a year later? Look, I've actually progressed, even though it doesn't feel like it. Yes, you still need to put in the work. You still need to study. You still need to get immersion, talk to people, listen to the language. But over time, you're going to see improvement, not when you're in the thick of it. Yes. So that is like a language diary. And then the other thing you can do within this point is have a language journal. And here, the key point is to connect your emotions with your language learning process. So make a little to-do list. I mentioned this in my last video. Please go check it out. It's about language scheduling and planning if you haven't seen it. Make a little schedule of what you want to do. It doesn't need to be a stressful schedule of like 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. work on this. It can just be in this month, this monthly goal. I want to achieve 1 chapter in this. I want to attend 1 language exchange. I want to watch 2 movies, listen to 1 podcast, etc. And then after you've done that, keep a journal of how did it go? What was useful for me? What wasn't? What worked? What can I do better? Plus the emotions you felt. If you haven't studied in a whole week and you feel bad, write it down and say, this week I feel really bad because I didn't do anything. And then turn it into a positive and say, actually, that's okay. I needed to rest. If you watched a movie and you understood, 60% of it, write it down and say, I'm really proud of myself for being able to understand 60%. Yes, I'm not fluent yet, but look where I've come. You want to analyze and write down your emotions and connect with that. And over time, you'll see a pattern. What makes me not feel good? What do I need to improve on? And try and turn this into a positive growth mindset situation. That is it for this video. I hope it was helpful for you. Please leave a comment if you struggle mentally with language learning, or if you don't, what helped you overcome it. And then I'll see you in the next video. And thank you for being patient with my really bad quality of videos. I really need to get a better setup. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!